That song that's like Mike.
Hey everybody, this is Kay Monet.
And Ray Charles.
And you are listening to At Home
with Ray Charles and Kay Monet. Welcome back to another episode of At Home with Ray Charles and
Kay Monet.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys tuning back into episode 6. We are at 6. 6. Para todo el mundo que está escuchando en español, para que lo sepan, episode. What did I say? Episode. Like I was about to say a song. Like I was about to announce a soccer game. Telemundo. Episode 6.
Episode 6.
And today we are talking about
Everybody inhale and exhale.
Grieving. Stages of grieving, how to get through it, you know, helping your partner get through it.
But before we do that, if you've liked or seen any of our previous episodes, make sure you are commenting, sharing them, liking them, subscribing them, and everything
Click,
else
click,
with
click.
them.
Yes.
Very important.
Share it with somebody. If you guys are enjoying our content, let them know what we're about, man. We just trying to share a couple pointers with you guys, you know, just keep it open.
Yeah.
And like we were saying earlier, like this helps us stay open as we
healthy.
can and healthy, like with our communication. Like it's really been helping with that. So with that being said,
Here we go.
let's get into it.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been wanting to touch this topic, but I was a little bit skeptical of how I would feel, you know, taking this journey or this path. You wouldn't think that this would be your way of like relief. Because like how we were saying that this is something that can help everybody. I feel like us being able to be open and honest about this particular topic heals us finally.
What do you mean heals us?
It would heal us too.
Like just
We'll
talk,
get there.
just
Get there.
okay.
Y'all gotta stay tuned.
I'm trying to find the
Stay
email
tuned.
that you sent me with the not
that, but
yeah.
you know how to. It's fine.
But you sent me something else.
I sent you this.
Oh, here. Yeah, these. Okay.
All
That's
right.
what I was looking for.
So, a lot of people don't know how to grieve, or some of us do. We overly know how to grieve or what is grieving and what grieving consists of. And we know that there are at least 5 stages of grief, which was the hardest thing for me to understand, is that like I have to miss this person or miss this thing or whatever through 5 stages.
And you know what the other important thing too is, like, I think people need to understand what you can grieve over. You don't have to just, grieving is not just over somebody that passed away or,
right.
you know, something super tragic. Not super tragic, because anything that
happens to you could be considered.
could be, you know, it could be tragic. It could be tragic to you.
Yeah.
You know, like a loss of a friendship, loss of a relationship.
And that's like mom, dad, grandpa, those relationships that could possibly have been hindered, such as also illnesses.
Yeah, even like
health,
changing jobs and moving into a new house. I remember when we moved from an apartment to this house.
It was a lot.
It was different.
It was a lot.
And I think we had to grieve the fact that we weren't living in an apartment anymore.
But I still think I agree with that a little bit. I think I'm
Yeah,
still,
it's
because sometimes I get really angry.
That you can't just call somebody and be like,
come fix this.
Come fix this.
Go swimming and go to the gym.
And
you
not
know?
have to worry about the maintenance part.
There's also moving to a new home. I mean, he's already said that. Graduation from school, moving on from high school. You can grieve moving to college. Like, that's a big deal. You may miss that lifestyle of people holding you accountable, because
If you
that's
had that.
over.
If you had that.
If you had that, it could be, but just even with teachers, because if you think about it, your grades are what hold you accountable. So they technically are.
Yeah, I mean,
Even if they
because
don't care about you.
Yeah,
You
even
get
if
a
they don't
0,
care,
60,
they'll be
you
like,
gonna look at it and be like, yo.
they won't pull you to the side and be like, hey, what's going on?
Right.
I mean, they may, but the chance that they will is
slim,
especially if you're going to a big university or something, some shit like that. So they ain't gonna really give a fuck. But it could be anything, bro. Like, even just like losing large amounts of like financial security, like, going from an apartment to this is different.
Job change. We've
Yeah.
been through that, like making thousands of dollars a week or a month or whatever.
Yeah, because being over the road definitely afforded you that at times. But
and even when I was a nanny.
Yeah.
Same.
So it
I
was
making good
there
money.
was things that was, and that was before we had
the baby.
The baby. So that was different. That's a whole different stage of life.
Adjust.
Yeah, you gotta adjust. So you gotta we
that
grieve
life.
that life, that part of life.
There's been so many.
Yeah.
That's tough. I didn't even think about that.
And even like me being off the road is kind of difficult. Like that's
that's you grieving too?
I'm grieving that part of because I kind of miss it at times, but then I have to just be like, that's a part of my life that's most likely over for this part of my life.
But is that your decision, or you feel like that's
no,
just
it's definitely my decision, because I definitely wanted to do what I'm doing now.
Right. And you did. You asked for it. You manifested it into existence. Like, you believed in yourself, and that was big.
Yeah.
Even when you were fearful, you were just like, I got this. It's all good. Talking yourself through it, like being
it was a big jump to do what I'm doing now versus what I had been doing in the past, which was being over the road or driving trucks in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or doing, the current work that I'm doing right now in some capacity.
Right.
With baseball teams or whatever the case may be. So, or just doing different events. But it's a different lifestyle now. So I think that just that part of my life being done is like, poop, close chapter, and then you don't really ever have to think about it again. But that's not true, especially if you like doing what you were doing at times, even though it was a hard job to have, which with a family, being away on the road is a super difficult thing, even for y'all. So I think that even though I loved it, it's just like a person that, or something that, is lost forever. You just have to live with the fact that you won't really do it anymore. But it brought good things, and that's why I miss it. Because I got to see the country, I got to see and meet new people, good experiences, bad experiences, ups, downs, shit that you don't really want to ever deal with by yourself. But it's just things that if you're a truck driver or if you're somebody that travels a lot for work, you would understand, just.
That sounds so lonely, but because I've experienced it with you, I mean, I understand your side of it. Like,
no, because even think about the time that I know there's times that you've been on the road and you just get to think about things on your own, even though I'm there, but in your head, or not in your head, or writing stuff down, or just meditating to yourself, things that you get to think about, having 12, 13 hours of probably being awake during the day and not being able to go outside of a box that's moving on the road.
That takes
at usually 60 to 65, 70 miles an hour at a time for hours at a time, and only stopping at rest stops limits the amount of people that you interact with sometimes. But it was a thing that I enjoyed. So
don't go back though.
No, I'm not gonna go back.
We good on that.
But maybe in a further chapter further down the line, maybe that becomes a reality, because I know once we retire and things like that, we'll probably, get back on the road in some capacity, whether it's like doing trips or whatever. But, that's something that I won't do anymore. So, yeah, that's something that I've grieved about recently.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean,
and now we are hoping that y'all are enjoying this part of the episode. But right now, I want to take the time to ask you to please go and subscribe.
Oh yeah,
to
for sure.
Video. Also, go on our IG at Home Pod.
Is it At Home Pod or At Home
Yes,
Podcast?
it's At Home Pod on IG.
I'm gonna ask that every time.
We
I feel
always
like I'm
do
gonna
it.
ask
It
that
doesn't
every
matter
time.
because we're here for each other. We got each other back right now. Go ahead,
But I feel like I should
comment, all
remember
that
it
good
at some
stuff.
point.
Because now I'm gonna get into the 5 stages of grief, and this, I'm ready. Let's go.
Denial, anger, what?
Bargaining.
Oh, boy, I spelled it wrong over here.
Depression, acceptance.
Acceptance. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. Bargaining?
More like making excuses for it. It's basically not accepting.
Okay.
So trying to find a way around what really is the truth, because it's kind of like denial. I feel like they all play into the whole bargaining thing. When my granny told me she was leaving to go stay somewhere, which was better for her, I was told that by my therapist to be prepared for those 5 things.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, I got this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, people don't really go through 5 stages. I always thought it was just that person made a decision, you were sad, and you were more sad, and you were more sad, and then you're just like, oh, well, I forgot they were here in the first place.
Yeah.
But it makes more sense to know that those actual more sad moments were actual categories of my grief.
Yeah, because that was you denying that it was like, basically going to go down.
Because I would still drive down to the house and drive past it and just be like, yo, this ain't real.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way this is real. And then I get my moments where I just want to lay in my bed, don't talk, and just cry. Like, just leave me alone. Yeah. And I think that was my depression stage. And I feel like I'm at acceptance.
Especially I've accepted because you were so relatively close to where you can still go be with her all the time.
But I think I abused that because I knew I was so close. It was just like, I can go. Oh,
we talked about that too, where you kind of took it. Yeah,
I took it for granted, and now it's like, yeah, how much the tickets? So it's
because
I missed that opportunity to do that.
I definitely noticed that you weren't angry, but you were very. It was very quick, after she was gone, but then you kind of started to
it a little. It's the.
I don't think you went. I don't want to say you skipped bargaining, but
no, I didn't, because I know that I was always like, if we do blah blah blah, then she can come back and be here, and we can do this, we can do that. Oh, I could try to talk to this person, and maybe they can help me, and we can get her back, and we can sign these papers. And I was very much on that type of mindset, and I didn't know what that was, but that's where I was at. I would do anything by any means possible.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did forget about that. But yeah, you did do that, and I wasn't. Dang, I feel like I was complicit in the bargaining stage because I'm not against her moving here at any point, but I don't think that was when we were talking about that. I don't think that it was just the right move. I think where she's at now is ultimately
definitely
healthier decision.
She's in such a better place.
Yeah.
But see, people say that in essence of death too. She's in a better place.
Yeah. See, so it
can go
ends up
so
it
many
ends up
ways.
getting to that, and because now, in hindsight is 2020, but you can see now that it was a better decision for her to be where she's at now, and because our life changed like pretty quick after that.
Really quick.
So job changes and different things, and then how do you know that would have worked out through any of that? And then even doing this, like we're doing this now, like how could we have honestly been doing this at the times that we sometimes decide to do this, because we are in a comfortable place where we can actually do this at
freely and our leisure
and at our
leisure.
time.
Mm-hmm.
How do we be able to do that with somebody that you're trying to give respect to and say, this home is your home?
Yeah.
It would be difficult to do that.
So I am glad I eventually kind of accepted that. Already.
Because that person is still here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that now you could travel back and forth, and it gives us an excuse to go to fucking Florida all the time. Which we didn't need many anyways, because we already have plenty of reasons to go back and forth. But that's something that, you had to eventually accept. And then once we accepted it, now we can see that.
So with my whole situation, I want to ask you something, and you now officially have to be honest, because you just have to. A while ago, not too long, but I remember when you let me know that your grandpa had passed.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the most settled I'd seen anyone grieve, because
like
you
subtle
grieved in silence to me. Like everything was like slow motion for you. Like you didn't have any anger really. You didn't. It was just like you just kept moving in this neutral.
Well, the thing too was that when I found out that he passed away, we were in a hospital, and not a hospital where he was at. So we were at a hospital for somebody else that we also cared about, but it was just like,
we were?
Yeah, you remember we were with Miss Loretta's son.
Oh.
We were with Wendell.
That's tough.
Yeah.
And see, then maybe that's what makes it weird for me, is because we were with them, but you were so calm. Like, you can see you're hurt. I don't even remember you crying.
Oh, I cried in the hallway outside.
Yeah, I don't even remember seeing
after I got off the phone, but I was outside.
You took that.
I cried a little bit.
I
cried a little bit. But
do you feel like you went through all 5 stages, or you still are trying to adjust to it? Maybe because you went slow with your grieving process?
No, I don't think it's that. Me and my grandfather had a complicated relationship, I felt like, but it maybe wasn't so complicated. It was just that he was very direct in the way that he was trying to instill lessons, right? He was very direct in the way that he did that. And so I always took it as like, especially when I was younger, I took it like he didn't like me, but that's not necessarily how I see it now. So I had to just kind of deal with the fact that at first, when I first heard about it, I was dealing with the fact that I, like, you know how you just be like, do I really, especially me, because I know how I am, I could be like, do I really care? And that was a part of me being like, I think that was just trying to deny it. And so when I look back at
a
it
bargaining thing?
No, I definitely think it was denial, like me trying to deny the feeling that it was actually happening.
Okay.
Of me just being like, I don't care. Especially because I was, like I said, we were at a hospital with somebody else already, and it was something major. I feel like at the time it was something not major. It was. I don't think it was major. Yeah, but it was. It was definitely me denying it, and then I got angry at myself for feeling like that, and then I got angry that he was gone, and then I was angry at other things that I feel like, you know, I wish would have been done different, but you know, you can't change those things. So I didn't really, you know, I've always known that, like, once things happen, because everybody is gonna pass away. So I think one thing I've always tried to prepare myself for is, when those days come, have you already accepted the time that you spent with that person?
Right.
Like, and if you can accept that,
then it'll be easier for you.
I think it'll be easier to digest it, because you've already, especially in a situation where what I was in was, I wasn't really going back and forth like that all the time, because you're in a different state. And so you have to just be okay with the time that you've had. Because if you're not, then you go to a place where it's like, it's kind of dark, I feel like. But I haven't had that for sure. And then I definitely was depressed about it, but I wasn't. It was something that I was able to put in the back of my head, and then it would just pop up randomly. Like if I saw a picture, or if there's things that
emotions would pop up randomly.
Yeah, the things just pop up randomly. Like there's things that Leah does that's like, or sometimes the way she stands and stuff. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah. So, or just like the way she looks sometimes, like, you know how her belly pops out a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah. He kind of had that little belly like that. And so it used to remind me of certain things, and it still does, but now I'm not. It's just like, I think that's pretty cool.
You've accepted it at this point.
Yeah, I've accepted it now.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. Now I've accepted it because now I feel like it's just a way of things coming back and being a good part, because now that I look at it, I did have lots of time with my grandfather. I had a lot of things that I enjoy because of him. You know, I really fuck with baseball because of him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, for sure.
Did y'all like go to games and stuff together a lot?
I think we went to one game together ever, and that was a Marlins game. I think we went to a game, and if we didn't, it definitely feels like it, because we listened to enough of the motherfuckers on the radio. We listened to enough of them on the radio, especially the year that they went to the World Series. I think that was, I don't remember what year that was, but I feel like.
So you and him have had special connections that allowed you to grieve, and now you're at acceptance.
Yeah, I'm definitely at acceptance now.
What else do you think? You feel like there's anything else that you've grieved? Or better, let me just ask you this. How do you feel like you've helped me with grieving?
How do I feel like I've helped you?
Yeah, like, what have you given to me that I can't give to myself during my grieving process?
What have I given to you during the grieving?
Yeah, because
Well,
you can give someone 10 times
depends
more
on
stress
what specific. Because I'm not gonna lie, you've grieved about a lot of things. You've had things happen. I mean, as we all have, and I've been here through a lot. That's why I can say that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, is there something specific? Because there's definitely a lot. I mean, not a lot, but
Okay.
if there's something specific that I can think of, like something that I've given you, is just maybe the space or somebody to know that I've been, because time is the most. Yeah, I've given you my time. I can say, like, I feel like that's a real.
It's a real thing.
Legit, I've given you my
Because
physical self because I've been
you have to be patient
physically
through
been
it.
there
I mean,
sometimes,
patient.
and just no, that's not a real answer. That's a bullshit answer.
I feel like if I give you a specific, you will be all right with answering that question.
Yeah, for sure. Can you give me a specific?
I can.
Okay.
You answered it about my grandma, but our situation when we lost the kid.
Oh, I was like, wait, what? Our situation? There's so many our situations.
Because that was a me and you grieving type of thing, and I feel like you grieved very differently through this.
You don't think that's still?
We're still going through it, but it's only fair to figure out how we're helping each other heal through that.
I think for sure it's one of those things that you just at first just definitely just deny because you can't. There's not a lot to grab onto other than it's hard for a man to connect to something that you can't feel, touch, or even none of that. But because of the fact that I know the fact that I've transferred my energy into you, where that's different.
And now I'm creating life.
Yeah.
That two people.
Yeah. So for sure, I'm definitely feeling that, and I have a connection to that. But it's a whole different thing. Like I would assume that it's a whole different thing. So the denial for me is definitely just being like, sometimes things happen, you could just throw it off to that and just be like, oh, things don't work out all the time. And I think that's definitely my way of denying it. Just throwing it off to like an easy ass, like, oh, sometimes these things happen or whatever, you have to just go through the experience, because whatever, people get sick or, you can't predict those things.
Mm-hmm.
So it just happened, and you gotta live with it. Right. But that's the easy answer. That's the easy denial beginning.
So technically you don't think we've went through it yet?
Oh no, yeah, I definitely think we have. I'm just going through the beginning of the first one, and then.
So you do feel like we've accepted it?
Yeah. Because I can. Yeah. Now that I'm speaking about it out loud, I definitely think we've accepted it now. No, you don't think so? Okay.
Maybe you, because like I said, we're different.
Yeah.
But for me, I couldn't tell you what stage of it.
It's pompous to say that. It's pompous to say we, because
I couldn't tell you what stage I was at. That's the scary part.
Not right now?
No, I couldn't tell you. Because I'll have my days where I'm like, it's all good, like you said, and but then I have other days where I see kids and I see babies and I'm like, if you were just, and I start to feel guilty again. Like I feel less than, and
but you shouldn't, because we can
I shouldn't
pop one out right now.
No,
if we really
can't.
wanted to.
We could, but we couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to consider those things.
I mean, yeah, right now
safely.
Yeah, right now I'm just saying,
I'm
but we
almost
could
at a
have.
point where I'm safe and good and healthier, 10 times healthier, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
But I couldn't like decipher like in my head. I know that I'm definitely not in denial anymore, but if I'm being 100%, I don't know if I'm not angry, and that's just step 2. That's just stage 2. I have no idea.
No, yeah, I definitely feel like we have gotten through it, but I can't go through that whole thing now. If you don't think that you've gotten through it, it's kind of pointless of saying, yeah, this and this is what the reason that I think you've gotten through it, because clearly if you don't know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you have.
No, but it's interesting, and it's nice to know that you may feel like that. That means, well, it could be bad and it could be good, because it could be that I'm really putting on this face, and it's just like, okay, well, if you can do that for that situation, how many other things have you felt like that about and showed me this?
Showed you what?
Like, if I'm giving off this demeanor that like that doesn't still bother me, or that I'm past it, not past it in that way, but I've accepted it, then how many other things have I just put on this mask about and made you feel that I was okay?
I mean, I wouldn't imagine many, but
No, but if that's what I'm portraying, then that's crazy to me.
what do you mean portraying? Because you don't necessarily have to tell me that you've gotten through something.
No, but what makes you think I have?
Because of the fact that I know that you don't break down and cry about it like you used to. The fact that not everything is going to tick you off, but it's going to always, that in particular is always going to be something sensitive because you're a mom.
So you feel...
I feel like you've gotten over it.
No, I'm saying like in general.
I mean, I feel like you've accepted it, but I feel like just because you may sometimes get triggered by some things that remind you of
what could have been,
mm-hmm. or, you know, a child that you couldn't have because of difficulties or whatever the case may be. It's not all the time just getting, you know, you have the right to do whatever you want to do with your body. But that's not the only reason that people, you know, lose kids or whatever. People sometimes have miscarriages or births that don't happen. We almost didn't have the one we got because of difficulties.
No.
So there's a lot of reasons why these things happen, but it's not your fault.
Right.
So it's always going to be something that may trigger you, but I don't necessarily think that doesn't mean you haven't accepted it. Because I definitely feel like you accepted it. Like I said earlier, like I did say earlier, but if you honestly don't feel like that, then that's okay too. I just don't. I do honestly think that you have, but like I said, you're gonna always feel something.
Maybe that's what it is. Is that I am just triggered by things. Like I've accepted
you're definitely
it.
Gonna be triggered by it,
but I'm just
because
like,
you're a good mom. Like you're a decent fucking human being. Jesus, like.
Well, thanks.
Of course, you would be triggered by losing a child. Like that's different than accepting it at this point, because like I said, I definitely feel like you have.
So do you think that there's a time frame for grieving?
No, there's
like it can someone grieve for like 4 years, or at some point you have to be like, okay, now listen, this is reality.
Nah, definitely for sure you do have to be realistic at some point.
What does that mean?
At some point,
you do
have to deal with it.
Yeah. Or you're saying that
you do have to get to acceptance.
5? Okay, yeah.
You do have to get to acceptance.
Yes.
You should always know that once you are a healthy emotionally healthy person, you need to realize that no matter what you're grieving through, you need to get to acceptance. Because getting to acceptance doesn't mean that all of a sudden the shit's gonna go away and you're not gonna ever feel about it again.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna feel about it. That's part of accepting it, is accepting that you're gonna feel about it. You're gonna get emotional about it. Some things may a random thing may remind you of the person, of the job, or the time when, and you might think about it and it might make you sad, and it might make you fucking happy. It might make you cry. It might make you cry about whatever, like a smell or a feel. It doesn't matter. But once you accept it, it becomes more of a good memory than not most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel like you're acting like somebody in a bad way, then accept that too, and then maybe try to realize that, all right, this is something that I don't need. Because not everything that person may have been good either, if that's a situation that you're dealing with,
right?
So
and you guys got to always understand that it's okay to feel certain symptoms of grief, such as shock, panic, sadness, depression, anger, anxiety, fear, guilt, relief, sometimes numbness, nothing.
you don't feel nothing. You just feel like
abandoned. Abandonment abandonment is a part of grief, is one of the things that you could grieve.
Yeah, like I said,
there's
so many different things you could grieve. You could be grieving the state of relationships, like just the state of your relationship with somebody that's alive or whatever the case. Like, what do you think is the hardest stage to get through?
Man, hardest stage to get through. Remind me of them.
Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance.
I am battling between anger and depression because personally, I think the two play hand in hand. I could be so angry that I don't want to move and I drive myself into a depression, which skips straight over bargaining. Like, I am battling the two of those at one time.
Yeah.
So honestly, I feel like those are tied for first place for sure.
Okay.
Those
tied for first place.
Anger.
So those
and
are
depression.
the two. So anger and depression are the hardest for you to get through.
And that's the thing that's crazy, is because there's a whole stage in between that I know that I felt them, but they all felt like they just ran together and I had to deal with all of them at once.
Yeah, they're definitely the meat of the burger.
They're the meat of the burger.
Yeah, they're definitely the meat of the burger. So I think for me, definitely is the anger part. Because
I can see that. I can see that.
Well, actually, it depends on the situation. Because for example, during the anger part of when my grandfather passed away, the anger part of that process was very quick.
Mm-hmm.
The anger part was in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
I think I went from denial. I think I went to anger first, because my violent, just body tense up, body
Your denial
motion
and anger could have tied up too, because
I just feel like when
what were you angry about? You know,
I'm just saying, like my physical self, when I first found out, like I think I punched a wall in the hospital. Like this was all outside.
Mm-hmm.
So I hurt myself out of anger, because I'm just like, dang, like I was just angry about the fact that I couldn't even, instantly I was angry about that I'm not there. And so, but I got through the anger part very quickly. So the depression of it I don't think lasted, maybe a couple months after the fact. So the hardest part was definitely depression because.
Oh, not anger?
What did I say? Anger? Yeah. No, I didn't say anger. No, I said.
Yeah, you said it was your anger because that was the first thing you felt when you were told that, and then you ended up punching the wall out of anger. So it was the anger that kind of ran through you.
Oh, okay. I feel like I said it wasn't the anger.
You said it was.
Because it was the quickest thing I dealt with.
You said it was your anger.
Oh.
And that just makes me feel like it's your anger and your depression doing the same thing as mine.
Being tired. Yeah, because definitely the depression was a little bit hard to get over. Not get over, but it was hard to go through because I don't feel like I'm ever in a depressed state. I don't feel like I'm ever depressed.
Yeah. That's that.
I don't feel like I'm ever depressed just because I feel like I have had a unique experience with being alone. And so I'm okay with being alone, but at the same time, I'm okay with talking to myself.
I am okay.
I'm very okay with talking to myself through things and getting to a solution in my head.
But you're not always
very
the right
quickly.
solution. That's
No.
the bad
I'm just
part.
saying I'm not saying I'm the right solution. I'm just saying I'm very okay with talking myself through something very quickly. So like, if something happens, if I get in an argument with somebody, or if I get in an argument with you, and I say I'm sorry about something, I'm actually being very genuine in when I say sorry, right? Because to me, I'm very centered around justice. Like that's my equal balance thing. Is I feel like it has to be some type of, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, cool. I'll accept that. If I'm right, I want to accept that too. And so if I'm wrong, I am going to apologize. And I accept that emotion very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to sit in that for a long time. So I don't think that really affects me in that way.
So that's an X-nay on depression A.
Yeah, I just feel like the fact that I've been able to be on the road so much and have time to
and
like
establishing your lonely okayisms.
Not lonely, just being able to like constantly learn myself and try to like figure out new ways to think. You
really have had a lot of good me time, like genuine, authentic me time. Like you have no choice.
I've had genuine time to
me.
think to myself and just
for real,
like really reflect on actions that I've had. Like
that's crazy.
Decisions that I've made. I've had a lot of time to
not
really
just sitting in a
reflect on
room,
them.
not getting on your phone. Like there's times where this man didn't even have signal. So
no,
you have
I mean,
no music.
Yeah, like hours of time of
no
just
phone.
Because I do think it's okay to talk to yourself. I'm a firm believer in
I do.
discussing things with yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Get used to your own voice type thing.
Get used to your voice. Like enjoy the fact that you have a voice. Because some people don't have a voice.
That's true.
Just I'm talking about just sound.
Mm-hmm.
Some people don't have a voice. But get used to your voice in not even out loud. Like that voice that you hear when you just talking to yourself.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not, I feel like
your conscience.
I feel like that's your conscience or that's your soul or whatever.
I mean, it all plays a part. It's tied together. Yes.
Like, because talk to yourself, but don't say anything out loud.
I can hear me.
That person that you heard, who is that?
Isn't that cool?
That's got to be your soul, right?
We're the coolest things on earth.
Yeah, I definitely feel like
we're pretty dope.
Top 1 million coolest people in the world. At least
Here
one of the top 1 million.
Here are some things that you can do to help people that are suffering through, those 5 different stages of grief. You can allow them time. You can show them support, love. Make sure you are helping them through things, not making things worse. Because the way that you would grieve is not the same way that person would grieve. If you don't show them the same amount of love that you would show yourself, then you're not doing any justice to them. So make sure that you are showing as much support to anyone that is grieving through absolutely anything, okay? Because we don't want to miss those red flags when somebody's trying to tell you something and they're trying to tell you it in silence.
Yeah.
You gotta pay attention.
Because you can definitely have the and I always, especially because I've been with you for so long, I'm always on the lookout for like, I'm always like cautiously on edge, not really scared, because now I feel like you have so much to live for. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like you really ever take it. I don't feel like
being suicidal.
Yeah, being suicidal, because I know that hell, I've dealt with it. I've dealt with being suicidal, at a younger age or whatnot. But you get through those things and you realize that your life is way more important to not just you, but people that actually do fucking love you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But like, you don't think about it though.
Think about half the people that may take their life, that do take their life away. I would say there's a good amount of people that leave some way, shape, form, or fashion some type of something to somebody, right? Whether that's a node or something, they leave something to somebody. I don't know what the stat on that is, but I'm sure it's a good amount, right? Just consider the fact that that person that you're giving that one thing to, you love them enough to know that they would need something from you when you're gone. So just know that that's enough for you to live for. Like if that's the one person that you have to just always constantly be like, I'm going to stay here for them, then I feel like that alone can get you through that stage.
Yeah, and
or
I feel
wherever
like
you're at.
That goes back into like our previous episode about intimate healing. Make sure you check it out, episode 5. I think it goes back to that where if you're not in a healthy relationship, you'll be able to tell just based off of that. Like if you need to get through this mountain of grief and this person is not doing you any justice, they're doing more harm than anything, that is not the person for you. Because these are natural
I'm not always
behaviors.
the person for you to get through every.
No, but like at least I know that you'll never treat me bad based off of what I'm going through.
No,
like you're
never.
gonna always be like, either I'm gonna guide her through this and help her through this, or I'm gonna let her come to me. Like I'm gonna wait patiently, check on her, but I'm gonna just wait for her to come to me about it.
Yeah.
So I feel like those are your only two. There's never I ain't saying nothing to her, I hope she'll be all right. It's never that. It's always like one or the other.
Yeah.
Always still concerned, but knows how to play it. Like you can figure it out.
I just feel like you have to give people enough space to know, like, especially because I have been, sometimes I don't, sometimes I definitely want you to like, let's fix it now. You know what I'm saying? But
you were, but you're not really like that anymore. You've gotten a lot better.
Well, I appreciate it, but I definitely feel like I still do that sometimes.
You do sometimes.
And I feel like when it's something that especially if you know that person is grieving, don't be like, that's the one thing I would say. Don't be like, let's fix it now. We can get you through this now. Like give people time to get through these stages. Like I said, be reasonable. Like I said earlier, be reasonable.
I don't think I'm reasonable about one though.
About
and
which one?
You're very patient with it, even with you saying that now.
Which one?
My grandpa.
Well, no, it's not even. That's like I said, triggering.
Every year, but I feel like every single year, a person that isn't you, or blessed enough, or a woman that's not blessed enough to have a husband that will allow you to do that every single year, even though it's not every single day. Yeah. He knows that when this one time a year comes, that it's going to
really
always be difficult for you.
Yeah, it's always difficult.
And I feel like,
but that's because I know that person had such a impact on your life.
And then my grandma's birthday.
Why
so
wouldn't
it's
I?
like,
Why
it's
wouldn't
a
you?
shit fest.
Why wouldn't you want to? Look, I think that if somebody is still, if somebody was important to you in life, they're gonna be important to you when they pass on. So you're gonna have things that trigger you about that person. You know, for you, it's a certain month or whatever, or certain time of the year that it becomes hard to deal with sometimes. And it's not even that it's hard to deal with it, that it's just you get reminded of a lot of memories that you had during those times.
Yeah. And even like us trying to establish, okay, what are we going to do this year for Thanksgiving? You know, like I wouldn't have to figure that out, you know, on a normal basis, because I'd be like, shoot, I'll just go to my nana's house, you know,
Yeah.
or she'll be like, hey, you ain't going nowhere, come over to so and so house, you know. And to not be able to do that is a part of grieving for me. Like I have to let go of a memory that once was.
No, you don't have to let go of the memory. You just have
that's
to.
not ever happening again right now.
No, like I said, you have to just remember get the times that because you got to do it so many times, not so many, but I'm saying a certain amount of times, and you have to remember that those times are now part of what keeps, because like when they put, what is that thing called, the ofrenda.
Mm-hmm.
When somebody passes away in certain cultures, you know, in Spanish cultures, they put their picture up on the thing. Those memories that you have of that person are what's keeping them alive
for me.
You know, for you, for everybody that's ever been involved with that person's life. Like you're keeping that actual thing, that actual memory of that person alive.
Yeah.
Because you're still here.
That, but there are a lot of people that really just struggle with the entire process of
for sure,
that drastic of a change.
And I think having somebody to go through grief with is like a Advil pill thrown in the relationship.
Any somebody, like that person has to get it. Like when that
really
person gets it,
and I only say Advil pill. I say a medicine I said that because it's gonna hurt. It's still gonna hurt.
It just kind of softens the blow a little
bit. It softens the blow a little bit, and it makes it easier to deal with. It makes it easier to swallow. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit easier, and it's good. It's better than dealing with it or feeling like you're dealing with it by yourself, because if you know that you have somebody that you can eventually come talk to about it, it makes you have a calm over you, I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this does fucking suck right now, but because I know I have this person, or because I feel like I have this person, don't cry. Don't cry. Suck it up.
I'm trying, Leah.
No, it's okay.
Put your head back. Put your head back, mommy.
Because you have somebody that, you know, you feel like you're eventually going to be able to talk to, or at least maybe that's just how I feel for sure, is I feel like I definitely have a blanket over me all the time. Even when I know I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get through feeling the emotion that I'm feeling, but I know that I'll be able to talk to you about it. Because if I don't know anything else, I know that you'll be willing to sit down and talk about what the fuck's going on.
For sure.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you for that. It means a lot. It really means a lot to have you open and understanding, because everybody ain't able, brother.
Everybody ain't able. Everybody's not, you know, and if you don't have a spouse or a boyfriend, girlfriend,
somebody,
whatever,
man,
a mom, dad, a cousin, somebody that you can talk to about things. It is important to have somebody to talk to.
Absolutely.
But because we're talking about specifically relationships in this context, I think in a relationship, in a marriage specifically, this can be one of the breakers of your fucking relationship. If you don't know how to get through grieving with somebody about anything, you're gonna be so fucking separate from that person that it's like, you know, women that go to church by themselves but go with all their kids. Married, go to church with all their kids. Their husband don't never go to church. You know what I'm saying? That's in two ways. One, if you know that getting up with let's say you have 4 children. Getting up with 4 children on a Sunday morning to get to church, most likely because you're getting to the first service. And even if you're getting to the second service, it is a chore hell and back to get ready for church, drive, get there, get us, do all that. It's to just do that by yourself is
crazy.
Ridiculous.
But
But then it's also taxing on the communication and relationship that is being fed into one person, but then not the other. Not saying that you have to consume all the same type of inspiration or whatever, but I do feel like people that do things together end up having a deeper sense of communication when it comes to the things that they can get through together.
And that's probably why, like, it's hard for me to do anything without you too, because you've always been my blanket. Like, I know that if I fall, Josh is gonna pick me up.
Yeah.
If I get a scratch, he's gonna show so much concern. If I get a splinter, he already got the tweezers. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, and I'm not perfect because I'm not always like
with that. Like, I don't mean like, oh, I dropped a pair of socks behind me, he's gonna run and pick them up and bring them to me. Like, nothing like that. But like in my time of need, like, it's like, you need this man right here, right now. You're there. Like, no
because
matter what.
Genuinely, I feel like if you don't go through like being somebody's friend, like going through things with them, that's why there's I'm not trying to quote certain things that I don't know about, because I do know, but I can't recall off the top of my head things and places and chapters but Jesus didn't call a lot of people friends, and then when he did, the first thing that happened is man got crucified a couple weeks later or a couple days later, right? And so if you don't go through enough things with somebody to where you can be their anchor in a good way and a bad way, because sometimes, like friends, anchors can be good and they can be bad. An anchor usually is the best part of your ship. The anchor is usually the best part of your ship. Do
we have an anchor?
Do we have an anchor? Yes. What do you think our anchor is?
For real?
Yeah.
Our anchor is our creative of the week.
You think that's our anchor?
For sure. And I don't think it's just
So you think our anchor was created 15 years? No, not 15 years. Our anchor was created 6 years into our relationship, like our actual relationship.
6 years.
Not into us knowing each other, but 6 years into our relationship.
Yes. I feel like that helped us create, like our anchor helped us to sit in our, excuse my language, to sit in our shit.
Yeah, because
and it held us
had
accountable.
Yep.
It taught us responsibility. It taught us how to sink and to swim. It taught us how to do both at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It was literally the best anchor you could possibly ever have. I know it was my saving grace.
I'll accept.
Without
not
that,
accept.
we wouldn't.
I will bow down to that answer because you are 1,000% right.
This is our balance.
Because when this happened, it brought out a different side of me that I never knew was like possible, because I was there when it happened. I was intentional about it happening. I knew that this is what I wanted. This is who I wanted it, to happen with. So it was very, yeah.
And we should get this creative of
but like I
next
said,
week on our show, by the way.
We should. So that is our anchor. But because like I said, an anchor is usually the best part of your ship. It stops the boat.
Mm-hmm.
It stops the boat when you need it to.
Yep. But it's hanging on.
It's hanging on. It's hanging on. And
you're the biggest part.
Yeah. And it stops when it needs to. It can pull you in certain directions. It can save your life. Sometimes it can get caught on things, and that's not the best.
So
that's not the best situation. But you got to figure out how to get down there and help your anchor get out the situation that it's in.
As much as it's help you.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because that's an anchor, and it's attached, and what it comes from, because the anchor comes from the ship. Those two things need to stay connected at all times, and one thing can't be the other without. You can't have one without the other. Love and marriage. Love and marriage. I should make that the record of the week. Frank Sinatra, Love and Marriage. I should make that the record of the week, but we're not. But our creative of the week
this week,
if you haven't figured it out by now,
is none other than our seed, the golden child, Natalia Pacheco. At the age
we would
of
tell
3,
you her whole name.
No,
but you ain't finna get in our business like that.
At the age of 3, she started Leah Knows Cookies with Moi Mommy. Hello. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about that. When Leah started these cookies, it was because I was sick. I would love to bake prior to that, and she was just like, "Mommy, let me watch."
And she was soaking it up.
She was soaking up all that information, and guess what? She started baking at really, really well by herself at the age of 4. So within a year, Shorty was in the kitchen. By now, she can go in there and throw down on her own. So anyways, she started Leah Knows Cookies, a from scratch operation that takes place every single summer. It goes down. Shorty sells her cookies in the summer for real. Sales, pop-up shops.
We've been to the Galleria in Dallas. We've been food trucks. We've been doing our own thing, online sales.
Fashion shows.
Everything. Fashion shows here in Dallas. So
she also sells her cookies and all natural lemonades. During the pandemic, she started hosting her very own podcast with her dad called Leah Knows Podcast.
She started it with us.
No, this started with you. She saw the passion that you had, and you set the foundation, because I was not interested in this at all. This is not my thing. I did not want to do this. I did not care about this.
Tell me how you really feel.
No, real talk. This is all you. 100% of her wanting to get out and have a voice, because that's what I never had. For her to be brave enough and to have a father to look up to do that with, is insane to me, because I never saw that before. I never experienced it. I don't even know how that feels inside of her soul, to know that she can wake up to you, she can look up to you, and she'll always have you. So I think that's just dope.
Thanks, kid.
Leah Knows podcast was started with her father, none other than Ray Charles himself. As the parents of this super kid, we can't tell you how proud we are of her, even though we know that this is only the freaking beginning, bruh.
Yeah, this is definitely only the beginning.
For her future.
She's a super kid, bruh. Like, legit.
She gets awards like crazy at school.
She's a super kid. We're very proud of her.
She makes straight A's.
But, we also definitely, like any parent, man, we just trying to give her what we didn't have in every facet. Because not only do you want your kids to have what you didn't have growing up, you know, as far as the type of schools that you went to, if that was a factor, the environment that you grow up in, if that's a factor, the emotional intelligence that they grow up with, if that's a factor, the financial security, whatever it may be, you want to do better.
And she reassures us that we're doing a great job. Like, she holds us accountable for everything that we do, all of our actions. And she is definitely a spitting image of me and her father. So hard, so bad.
Yeah, she's definitely a balance, but then also she's
her own.
She's her very own person, because I'm a Libra, you're a Pisces, and she's a Leo. So she
has a perfect balance of emotions,
much
bro.
Own person, bro. Like, it's
crazy.
It's ridiculous.
She's vicious. She is an earth storm, bro.
An earth storm.
She's an earth storm.
Yeah, for sure.
She really is. She is just a little hocus pocus. Real talk. That girl is a Powerpuff Girl.
She's everything. She's all of that.
And I'm going to say her name loud and proud real quick. Like, Natalia Pacheco.
Yeah, that's my baby, man.
Is a firehouse. And I'm telling you, you give my shorty a few years, you can give her 6. And she can do it right now.
She can really do it right now.
She's stepping on all your necks.
Not she can really do it right now. She's doing it right now.
She's doing it right now. At 3 years old, she had a business.
Yeah, no, she's doing it right now.
She started a business.
And
she's into arts and crafts.
And I tell people all the time too, like, I tell people all the time. It's not something I tell people all the time, but people have asked me, and this conversation has come up, believe it or not, but nobody forced Leah to do anything.
We don't.
As parents that raised, we didn't really like baby talk her. We gave her a lot of love and affection, and we really loved her.
Yeah.
But we never baby talked her. So she talked early. She was like really talking early to us. And so, perfect example is when we moved into this house, I built that table behind us. You know what I'm saying? And how old was Leah when we moved into this house?
About 3, turning 3.
She was turning 3. She was already talking.
She was about 3.
She was already really talking at that point. We built that table together. But she understood the fact that I didn't buy that table. We went to the store.
And that's always been her favorite store.
We bought the material.
She remembers that.
And we built it ourselves. And I explained to her that we saved money by doing it ourselves.
And now she wants to build.
Yeah. So she wants to build. And I think that just that mentality of knowing that you can, whether it's money and taking it and doing something with it. We're giving them
all the juice about her, and we're going to talk about her.
I'm just saying, as far as like the way that you raise another fucking human, because she took that and took it to everything that she does. She takes whatever she has and she tries to build from it, whether it's money, and tries to make more of it by investing in something, a material that's gonna be able to flip. I could sell that table for, un montón de dinero, a bunch of money, because I know how much it's worth. I know how much it's worth. I know how much it's worth just in the materials that I used. So that's what you can teach is a mentality. And that's really your only fucking job as a parent, is to try to teach the right mentality and try to get your kids to be productive adults at the same time, but be caring fucking just humans. And that is like helping somebody be that is what gives somebody the chance to even have a fucking conversation like this about how are you healthy to grieve, and how can you even grieve through something, because you have somebody that was raised by caring and loving fucking people that actually want to see people be better and not have to be fucking alone in this world, because there's so many people in this world. And guess what? You don't have to fucking be alone when you grieve through things.
Even her, like, I feel like she too has to grieve, and you have to understand that children grieve too, guys, not just us. You need to allow your kids to go through the process as well. You can't be unfair.
Remember when you were a kid,
and just because you lose something doesn't mean that they don't get to go through their stages of losing something as well at the same time. Even if y'all are going through it at the same time, you're gonna have to put your big boy and big girl drawers on, and you're gonna have to be there for your kids.
Yeah.
Like, bottom line, because
your kids are different, bro. Your kids don't get to
I can't imagine.
You don't get to hide any of your emotions from your emotions, but you don't get to hide any of your abilities from your kids. If you're able to be there, then you need to be there in every facet. And like you saying that is a major part of that, because you don't get to not parent. You don't get to not be there for your kids. You don't get to take no fucking days off. I'm sorry. Like, it's just, you just don't. And I think it helps that you have a 1-2 punch, and, it's a great right hook and a great, did you hear something? No? Okay. It's great to have that. And she's definitely the fucking anchor. And I feel like we've been going on and on about her. I could just go on and on about her because
so that's why I was like, next week, guys, make sure you tune in. Make sure you subscribe. If you don't like this episode, then you can fast forward through the whole thing, as long as you watch it.
I don't give a damn if you don't like this episode.
Make sure you
I'm
like
talking about my baby.
And make sure
I'm talking about things that's real.
let me finish. You need to make sure you subscribe, because next week we are definitely going to have a conversation about this, and we're going to talk to the creative themselves, because we think it's
we're definitely going to have her on.
This is a family situation. This is a family business. So
it's
without
a family
her,
business. This is like Selena's.
This is going to go crazy. I'm telling you. Like, you got to meet Shorty when she comes here next week. You don't want to miss that episode.
You can actually meet Shorty by going on the podcast and listening to the podcast. If you got kids, listen with your kids, bro. It's a great podcast to listen to with your children.
And order her cookies in the summertime. Sometimes on the holidays, depending on how she feels.
Yeah, we're trying to see if we start opening it up to different holidays, but that'll be a decision that'll be up to her, because it is a lot of work. Y'all put in a lot of work during the summertime, because we ship them. They go to a lot of places local. Like, y'all put in a lot of work. So I don't know if we want to open it up to those holidays.
Yeah,
but
man.
She definitely puts in the work. It's definitely like something that she loves to do. And like I said, it's just a mentality that you put through anything.
You can follow her on IG at Miss Leah's World. Don't forget it, son. Because she coming with it.
No.
It's Miss Leah's World.
Yeah,
Scott.
because
it's her world, man.
No, I was gonna say on
top of that,
we manage that account anyway. So
if you don't manage your little baby's account, I'm worried.
You're a fucking chump.
I'm concerned.
If you don't manage your children's Instagram accounts or their social media accounts, period, you're a fucking chump.
I didn't say
you're
that.
You're a fucking chump.
Wow.
Oh, I did.
Wow.
If you don't manage your children's
and he says,
social media accounts, you're a fucking chump.
All right.
Chump with a capital ch.
We're gonna take this
make sure you subscribe
to also tell me, hey boy,
don't call me boy, man.
You got an album of the week.
Hey, look,
for us?
I ain't gonna lie. Right now, you gotta give it up to our swag today.
Stop playing.
You gotta give it up to our swag today.
Mine look a little puffy, but y'all know I'm skinny.
I got the different socks on. I got the Hey Arnold socks on my left foot.
I got the sheep fur on my shoulders.
Levi Bear socks on my right.
Stop playing with me. And my nails done by me. I got this vintage wear coming out, and I'm ready to style and profile on y'all next.
All right.
Album of the day, album of the week,
Record of the week is James Brown, Body Heat. Bow.
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 Y'all get into it.
Nah, and we listened to like all the records on this album.
This one, bruh.
And
make you do the stank face.
Here's the thing about this album. It's like it gives you, like, when you hear Body Heat, that's why he didn't put no space in between this. It's Body Heat, just one word. When he say it, it's just one word. Because the whole album starts off like some smooth melodic shit, like on some shit you wouldn't expect.
Super chill.
Kind of like you wouldn't, I'm not gonna say you wouldn't expect, but it's just like some.
It's chill.
For James Brown?
It's chill.
For James Brown, you just be like, I don't know. This is not what I expected. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people would, if you're not listening to him, if you're not a fan of him, because this record came out in 76, right? This album came out in 76. But this song,
1, 2, get down.
You don't hear that motherfucker to the last record. He don't say that shit to the last record. So I encourage you to listen to this album because it is a good album from top to bottom. But you gotta wait until the last you gotta wait till the 7th track to get that.
1, 2, 3, get down.
Like, that's all I'm saying. So if you enjoyed this episode, and if you didn't enjoy this episode, man, shit, we might drop some shit you might enjoy later on. Subscribe, like, share, comment down below.
And let me give y'all
let us know where you listening from.
Listen, I'm gonna give y'all a little a little exclusive. The holidays are coming up.
Exclusive?
Yes, check this out.
Okay.
So here's the thing. My family has land, and we are going down there for the holidays. And we're linking up with some of the coolest Negroes in the world, you feel me? And we're talking about
we doing it real
Park
big.
Strong. You heard?
You know, we
for
doing
the
it
holidays.
real big for the holidays.
So
we
stay
gonna
tuned for that
all
episode
kind of content.
It's gonna be crazy. We got our
down
shooters
there.
out there.
We're gonna have all. I'm telling you, all type of content. So
shooters.
if you're on the YouTube side, it's gonna be a lot of content.
Yes.
Hell, if you're on the Spotify side, I'm gonna bless y'all too, bro. With these videos, I'm gonna bless y'all too because we're gonna be shooting out there. We're gonna be doing all kind of stuff.
Crazy
It's gonna
pictures.
be crazy.
It's gonna be wild. Enjoy.
Y'all gonna enjoy that, man. But like I said, subscribe. And man, we appreciate y'all. We love you guys.
Don't play with it.
Everybody that's listening right now, we deeply appreciate you.
No, for real.
And if you are listening right now, we would appreciate if you subscribe. Goddamn.
Please.
So, but we out. Boom. Peace. Anything you gotta say?
No. Bye, y'all.
Because I'm not trying to rush, but I gotta pee.